So this is gonna be a raw kind of behind the scenes of how I do my creative process, my creative brainstorming, or however you want to call it, of how I get into the creative mood. I've actually been sitting in the studio now for like 20 minutes trying to figure out what to do with this photo project for this week. It's supposed to be white on white. I had a really good idea. Unfortunately, the model didn't come, so now I have to do something before the day's over. These pictures happen once a week, so I'm already late. It's Sunday. Well, I guess I'm not late, but on the very last day of the week to be able to post this. Really, this is just a way to get myself to be creative every week and just kind of push myself. So this is what I have to work with. I have this box. Well, not a box, it's kind of like a cardboard thing. Some white paint and the brush. I really don't know what I'm gonna do, but I kind of want to get this box and paint the inside of it white. And then I'm gonna have to do a self-portrait. So I don't know, get some light and shoot kind of my head in here and add some other kind of stuff. So we'll kind of get going and we'll see how that goes. So I get this paint from Walmart. It's like just like kids paint. There's little tubs, like $9. And this is basically what I use for all my photo shoots that have anything to do with paint, because this is water based, so it's really easy to get off with just water. But this is one of the problems of trying to do things all on your own, is things get messy. I can't get this table dirty, because that would not be a good thing. So this right here is my fancy setup of where I'm putting you guys. And I actually feel kind of awkward right now because I'll show you guys. There's a homeless person that's sleeping right outside of this thing right here. So when they wake up, they'll be able to see everything. And I don't know, I feel kind of bad being in here, being creative. I want to put some music, but then I'll feel like I'm gonna bother them. I mean, they're outside, but I don't know, we'll just wait. Just wait to see if they wake up or not. See, like I just started, my hand's already super dirty. It's tough, you know, because I have to do my own pictures, and then I get my camera dirty, and all right, whatever. So this should be the frame. I don't know how perfect I have to get it. I don't know how it's gonna look on camera. I would imagine that with the flash and with editing and all that, I can make it look good. But usually it's better to just get everything perfect in camera, so I don't have to do too much editing. You know, that's one of the biggest difference between, or I guess that's one thing that people a lot of times don't know, that there's two ways of shooting. There's something called composition. So you basically shoot with the purpose, but you're intending on editing afterwards. So you want to, you know, do a lot of Photoshop stuff, do a lot of kind of put stuff together. and that's always cool. But then, you know, a lot of times you want to do what we call, well, we want to try to get as much done in camera. That way when we get to the back end, to the editing, we don't have to stress too much about it. I just finished, well, tomorrow's my last day of editing. I've been working with some foster kids. It's a boys' house, and I've been teaching them about photography, and we've been going out for the past, technically it was supposed to be 6 weeks, but all of the boys in the house got COVID, and all the staff. It's actually 2 houses, so I think a total of like 10 people got COVID. So I say so a lot, it's really annoying. I wasn't able to go to the house and work for like 2 months. And just recently I went back and, you know, tried to finish it up. And as much as I love photography, it's really tough, especially with kids that have gone through stuff like they have. I obviously don't know all the details in everyone's case because it's all confidential, but you could tell that unfortunately a lot of them are really messed up. A lot of them are really, you know, they've been through a lot of things, and they're teenagers. They're from like 12 to 17. So a lot of them are going through puberty and doing all that stuff while in a foster house or in a foster home with different boys coming in and out all the time. It's a lot of kind of that high school mentality. Everyone wants to one up everyone. Everyone wants to be the cool one. And it's tough. It's funny. It's also kind of funny though, because when they're in a group setting and they're all together, they all tend to kind of want to be tough, want to be the boss of the group. But once I separate them and work individually, they really do care. They really do want to learn. They want to, you know, take in as much as possible. But obviously when they're in front of their peers, they all want to be the tough guy. So we really can't get a lot done if they're all together. So it's definitely getting white. We're almost there. It's Valentine's Day right now. Everyone's out, being cute, being romantic. And I'm here painting a box, making it white. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I was asking her, well, I was telling her, I guess we were trying to figure out if whoever follows me on my social media, you kind of see the images that I make. I work with a lot of models. I do a lot of different kind of stuff. And we're trying to figure out if I shoot what I shoot because I'm single, or I'm single because I shoot what I shoot. Right? It's like I wonder if I wasn't single, would I be able to shoot and have as much freedom to create what I am creating? You know, I had friends that were doing the same thing I was, and then as soon as they got, you know, they had a relationship and they became more serious, then they just totally gave up on what we were shooting, what we were working on. I don't know if that just means that they weren't really, you know, down for it, or they weren't really about photography, or maybe they just figured it would be a lot easier if they stopped shooting models and girls, I guess. and then just deal with, deal with the relationship. At this point, I don't think I would stop. I've been doing it for so long. I don't think I would stop if I was to get into a relationship. I don't think I would stop and, to accommodate, because, if you met me doing this, you're kind of stuck with it. And I mean, I do have a rule. When it comes to the people I photograph, or at least my relationship with the people I photograph. I don't date or, try to talk to or be friendly with anyone that I photograph. So it's all always strictly just business and photography. Yeah, it's always business and photography before everything. Do I wish to possibly eventually meet someone that's in the industry and we could create a lot together? Obviously, but I don't know. I always think when I meet someone new, or when I meet someone new as in photography, I always hear so many bad stories of them with other photographers, and I got the table a little dirty. Them with other photographers and not feeling like it was professional enough, or weird comments and stuff like that. And I want to avoid that as much as possible. So although I do photograph a lot of really cool people, really attractive people, that's kind of one of the rules that I just kind of put myself. And I said, you know what? If you're going to photograph a person, then you're not going to move on. And yeah, I kind of kept that now for a while. It's been kind of hard. A lot of times I photograph a lot of people that are really cool. Like really cool people and really, really good vibes. I don't know if it's a dumb rule. I don't know if it really matters. But then I always think about the future, right? Like, let's say, I know it's all about trust, but let's say I photograph someone, then we start dating, and then that continues. And then I keep photographing people as I'm dating that person, then they could always feel like, since I met them photographing, I could potentially meet someone else photographing. I don't know. I think it gets a little messy. But ideally, I would end up with like a fashion designer? No, those people that put outfits together, or makeup or hair. Someone that's like in the industry that could complement what I do, because then that would make it really easy and really fun. We'll see. So this is the box. It's not perfect, but I was getting a little annoyed with it. I'm gonna let it dry, and I think it's white on white, so I have to bring down the white paper and set it up. If I'm gonna put my face through it, I know I'm gonna have to paint on my face, or at least do something to my face to make the theme work. I really don't want to do that, but I have no choice. We'll see. This paper always gets so dirty. to come in here and choose and decide what I want to shoot with. I think because the box is small, I should do this. I need the cables. Where are the cables? Where are the cables? Nope. Oh, go there in here. And then, all right, so this is what I'm thinking. Obviously I have the box, or this, whatever. And I need to get it somehow onto here so then I can shoot through that way. I have tape. I should try that. I had just bought this thing for my cell phone so I could have it on a stand. And it just happens so much that we have stuff here in the studio, then we have stuff back home, and you really never know where stuff is, especially since we're transitioning and we're cleaning a lot of stuff. So obviously the day I wanted to film, I forgot it. So now we're just doing, old school and just laying it on whatever. So for the people that know, the reason that I call my photography page, the reason that I call my photography page Mess Studio is because I always seem to get messy when I'm doing things. I know it's really cringy and really obvious or dumb, but it really is the case. I just like to do things that are a little bit out of the box. No pun intended, but it just always happens. Yeah, so the people that work out of the studio are a little different. So I always have to make sure to stay as clean as possible when I'm working. So this would definitely be easier with some help, Ah, shh. Damn it. So with that homeless person outside, they're really bad. So when they wake up, if I'm still here when they wake up, I want to see if I could offer them some food or something. I think it's a girl. I guess they come in the back area because it's really away from anything. No one ever goes back there. So we'll see if she wakes up when I'm here. I also don't want to scare her and freak her out as she wakes up. Okay, so that should work, but I'm probably gonna need another stand to tape it on this side to keep it nice and square. Let's see if it stays there as I go get the other one. All right, so, we have something. In theory, oh damn. Probably should have put the seam on the bottom, but whatever. So in theory, that's there. So the camera's there, and I'm gonna be here. But now I have to make sure that I get this light and the camera to shoot through there without causing too many shadows and stuff. So let's work on that now. The thing about doing all this is it's a lot of decision making all at the same time. Trying to figure out what the best tool is. And people don't realize that about photography, that it really is all based on past experience, trying something new, or I mean, also just winging it and seeing what's gonna work or not. All right. So now the struggle is, can I get both the camera and the light to do what I want? This tripod's good, but it's not that tall. I gotta move this down a little bit without breaking everything. Tell me, if anyone ever wants to, you know, come help or intern, whatever you want to call it, I'll give you community service hours or college credits, whatever. We'll figure it out. All right, so all right, so as for this, it's gonna look something like that, right? But now we need light. Luckily, it's all white inside. Oh shoot! Luckily, it's all white inside, so the light should just bounce everywhere. But light likes to do whatever it wants. Okay, so I got the light on the setup, but like always, I left my little thing on, so now it's dead. And now we need to find batteries. And I know I brought some the other day, but I don't know where they're at. Honestly, I mean, photography is easy and all, but most of the problems and everything is just, you know, you just do it to yourself. Like doing stuff like that. Like forgetting to turn off your triggers. It should just be a habit now, but keep doing it. Luckily today I had batteries, but if I didn't have any batteries here on me, everything that everything that I just did would be, you know, pointless, because then I couldn't shoot. All right, so we're gonna do the first test and see. It's not super bad, but it's also not super pretty. Let's see what we could do. I think I'm gonna move this light first. Okay, so I did a first test shot, and if you look, you know, I think I'm gonna do a composition. So I'm gonna leave the camera where it is, and then with the light, I'm gonna try to get all the perfect lighting inside. Get all the lighting inside, and then do another one of my face, and then in Photoshop put everything together, because I'm not gonna be able to get the light perfect and the camera with what I'm shooting with. So let's see how long that takes me. All right, so I did a couple shots, and they're all just lighting different parts of the box, which then I'm gonna put all together so I can have an evenly lit inside of the box. And now I have to get myself in there as well. To get myself in there, and I'll light my face and not worry too much about the box anymore. I think that's gonna be the final setup right here. The light looks okay. Now I just have to figure out what I'm gonna do to kind of get rid of, obviously, my jacket. It's white on white, so it can't be red. And I need to do something to my face to make it a lot more interesting. There's a couple things I have in here. I have this paper, which is white, obviously. I have some white napkins. I have the white paint, and I have white tape. So now it just comes down to how dirty I want to get, or how much I want to put into doing this. I don't think I want to get my face painted, although that would be a better picture. So we'll see. I think I might go more with the paper. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get a couple of these papers, and I'm gonna roll them up and kind of put them around my face, and then that should make things a little bit more dynamic, and then I don't have to paint on myself, but still kind of take the same idea of just white on white. Yeah, so we're here now. I had to take off my shirt because I don't have anything white. So I'm hoping with the light, it'll kind of flash out my untanned skin and make things look a little white. You know, the thing about art and photography is that sometimes you just have to go for it and hope for the best. So I'm gonna go ahead and start shooting, and the next thing you'll see are gonna be either some snapshots, if it worked, if it didn't, if it worked or if it didn't, and we'll just kind of go from there. So we'll see now. Yeah, things definitely got a lot more weird, but we got the picture, so that's all that matters. So that is it, at least for this portion. Now I get to clean everything up and go home and edit everything. One of the things about shooting different kind of content is that I totally forgot, but about 2 days ago we went to go shoot, and I switched my camera to JPEG. So for the people that know, JPEG It's basically, when it comes to professional photography, it's not as high as quality and you can't do as much. So a lot of the pictures that I had just shot, I shot everything on JPEG, which is fun. Luckily, I remembered at the end and switched it over to RAW, which is a way better way of shooting, and I got the picture I wanted. So we'll see how that looks. Now I get to clean up and go home and edit it. I have a bad habit of wanting to edit right away, so we'll go home and we'll do that.
Welcome to Love Machine.
Alright, so this picture that you guys see here is what I just edited in Lightroom. I lost the screen recording for it, so we're gonna start here. The first thing that I see is that I should have done a better job painting. Sometimes these little things, like I was talking about in camera, if I would have taken 5 more minutes and just painted it better, I wouldn't be here doing all this. So I'm just gonna take some time and slowly go through every single patch, every single thing. So I think in this part I just go and I just go and clean it up as much as I can. So we're gonna go ahead and speed this up and just quickly go and clean up. Okay, so this looks a lot better, but obviously there's still a lot to do. So I'm gonna zoom back up here, get this part, take it out. I was gonna do this, but then look at what happens when I get the corner. Oh, actually you can't really see, so there you go, gets blurry. Gonna go ahead and clean this little part up too. So basically all I'm doing is just using the patch tool to find the same texture. Right here I switch over to the stamp and I'm just gonna stamp that and copy it over to the right. Bam. Then go back to the patch tool and go up. Alright, so I should have done a before and after so you could see all the things that I just took off, but I didn't. So we're just gonna keep, I see that big thing, it's gonna be hard to take off. And this is where I messed up. I went to go crop the size, well, crop the dimensions, but then I ended up cropping the size. So I went from a very high res picture to this. And at that moment I didn't realize, like I didn't think about the fact that it got so small. I was just editing until the end is where I noticed that I cut down the quality of the picture a lot. So that kind of sucks. But now I keep on going and looking for more things to clean up. So the total edit for this picture took me 30 minutes, which I think is pretty good. I didn't bother with my skin too much. I just wanted to make the white look white. I didn't want any distractions from what the face is. I should have done this voiceover as I was editing, but I was in the living room and everyone was there, so I couldn't really do that. Now I'm here and I'm trying to figure out how to tackle this seam right here that's pretty ugly. I always go for what the easiest option is, which doesn't always mean it's the best. So here I'm stamping, trying to see if I could get away with this. I want to make that look like a perfect perfect edge. That looks pretty good. So again, it's just all about decision making, just going around and seeing what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. Yeah, right there I saw that it was too white and too obvious, so I went and looked for some other texture. Then things got too bright, and right there I could totally see it. I don't know if people that don't know how to edit, if they would be able to see it or not. So again, I'm trying to figure out how to do this without it looking too fake. Obviously that right now looks a lot better than it did at the beginning, but it's still not perfect. Well, usually when I stop, it's just me thinking and trying to figure out what to do. Here I'm kind of going back on the steps, and obviously it looks a lot better when you look at it this way. But at the end of the day, I know it wasn't. I know I was going to be looking at it a lot. I know I was going to be thinking of what it was or not. I'm just trying to figure out now how to get rid of that. I mean, what to do to the picture. I still don't know what the final image is going to look like. So at this point, this is something that a lot of people do, just kind of copy and paste the other side, and you could quickly do it. But my problem was that this box ended up not being perfectly symmetrical. So the inside rectangle or inside square is imperfect. So that means the edges don't line up. So now I have to resize it and try to see if that would work. I'm going to go ahead and erase the hard lines. Yep, I actually didn't like that. So now I just stare at it, thinking. So this is when I kind of decide, okay, let's. Right there, I saw that bottom edge, and I realized it looked nice. So then I thought, okay, if I flip it around and use that bottom edge, how is it going to look like? And then this part was when I realized, okay, cool. I'm talking in the past tense because I'm doing the voiceover after I already edited, so I know what's coming. So at this point when I was editing, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I kept flipping it because that little thing on the right side, yeah, that little thing, I didn't know what was going on until I remembered I had that other layer on top that was throwing off the shape. So I was right here, I'm thinking, okay, how can I did the eraser tool, which made it diagonal, but it looked kind of messy. So I wanted to have a sharp edge or a straight line down the middle. And I was testing out the tool. I was like, oh yeah, this is what I should use. So I went ahead and went one corner to the next. Ideally, those edges would hit right in the middle, but obviously they don't. So I'm going to cut out the ugly edge, then hit delete. And then now it's starting to look a little bit more like the final image. At this point I see it and I'm like, okay, cool. I like this. Let's see what we could do with it. I want to make sure we keep that original box in the middle, have everything look nice and clean. Just gonna give myself a little more room on the top. Again, those ugly edges. So right here I'm burning, trying to see if I can match the colors. So you see how that white, those two whites are different? So by burning them, I get to match them a little bit better. I'm gonna go in the highlights, that was a lot. Go back, bring down the exposure and try it one more time. Again, I don't like that. So midtones, bring up the exposure. Okay, it's alright. Gotta remember what layer I'm on, go back, try to burn that light. So the edge still wasn't perfectly matching up. So I gotta get really close because sometimes the pixels don't. Alright, I was probably like, alright, whatever. Just gonna leave that there. I don't know why I did that. I did not need to do that. So here I'm actually erasing using the eraser tool to make sure that we blend in those two. And bam. Obviously it's not perfect yet. So now I erased from one side, now I gotta erase the other layer. I should be naming my layers so I know what's in the front, what's in the back. But I don't do that. Alright, so here everything looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. Not obviously content, so I gotta select the right layer. Then I realized that since I had erased the other side, there's nothing under this. So I have this really sharp line that I have to figure out how to fix. So I have to look and see what each layer is doing. So I realized that the back layer, that bottom left, I don't have anything dark. So I have to somehow create hair or something down there. So I go ahead and duplicate again the main layer, the one that has my full face on it, flip it again, give myself that hair. Again, this is just to bring back a little bit of that, what I had taken away earlier. Click on the layer, and now I can erase it, and since I just did that copy, I have that hair back there. So even that white paper, I just kind of matched it with that line. Because at the end of the day, no one really knows what the original looks like. They're not going to know that there's something missing there. I'm going to do the same thing here in the bottom. Click the right layer. There you go. Erase, erase. So when it comes to pricing of photography and stuff like this, obviously this edit took me 30 minutes, which people, I mean, if you don't know how long stuff usually takes, it's pretty fast. But just because it took me 30 minutes doesn't mean that I need to, or I should be charging less. Because I'm sure that someone that has no idea how to do this is going to take him hours. So the last 6-7 years that I've been doing this has led me to be able to do this in 30 minutes. So I see my nose with all my weird nose hairs. So I gotta go in and, just make it look a little prettier. I didn't think I was gonna do such a close-up shot, but it is what it is. Just spot healing really quick. Obviously I need to get a facial, I need to fix those pores, but I also have Photoshop, so that's nice. I'm just going. Taking that off. Those aren't really pimples, those are just like scars, I think. Cool, so there you go. That looks like something. Oh yeah, so this line I was trying to see if I could make the illusion of things like both faces being one. If I could erase that, and I probably, if I would have spent more time, I would have been able to figure out a smooth way to do this. Yeah, I would have, but at this point I was just like, you know what, whatever, we'll just leave it like that. All right, so I always zoom in and out a lot just to see what to do. Right here I saw that sharp edge, and I knew I wanted it to look like one picture, so I needed to make sure that I erased that. There you go. So now it looks like it's a continuous paper around. Look, that went too far. Like you could hardly see it, but when I'm working on it, I could definitely see it. All right, so this looks good. So right here, I think I'm gonna merge all the files together, or all the layers together, so I could start working on it as one image. Oh yeah, so I saw that line that I felt was really distracting, and I was trying to see if I could fill it in again to make that same illusion of the paper being one. I saw that and I thought it didn't make sense. I just kind of left it back how it was. So it's just a lot about trying and seeing what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. Not limiting yourself. All that fancy self help stuff. So here I come and I'm like, okay, this black line has to go. I want a nice white box. So we're gonna go and boop. It's gone. I don't know, that edge was too blurry for my liking. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp it out. It's too big, too obvious. Stamping. That was probably too high, but just gotta make sure that the shadows work. Yeah, so I didn't like that. Had to correct it a little bit. So I'm just gonna burn it. That's my go-to. If the colors aren't matching, I just burn it. Make things look, well, lose a lot of, details and stuff. So now I gotta do the same thing at the top. I should have done all this at the beginning. That way when I flipped it around, it was already done. But I didn't know I was gonna flip it around. There we go. Looking good. Again, now I'm gonna stamp it, try to make that clean edge right there. I think I went too far. Stamp, stamp, stamp. So obviously there's a little thing right there I gotta get rid of. Didn't even notice that. So again, burn, bam, it's gone. A little dot. Bam, bam, bam. So now I gotta deal with this down here. So when it comes to this kind of patching and cleaning up work, there's a lot of ways to do it. I personally just use the patch and the stamp tool to just works. Here, see, that is one of the problems with the stamp tool, that it brings the colors from wherever you selected. So that was way too bright. Then I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just do this other one. I need to move that one, but I needed space. So I cleaned up the back so I could bring that to the back and have enough space for it to fit without getting the other mark. Alright, now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this nasty edge. Nope, too bright. Look at it, okay. I gotta come back up here and do it all over again. Could this image been okay without doing all this cleaning? Possibly, but if we're gonna do something, might as well do it right. And I could have spent another hour touching everything up, making my face look perfect. But this is just me trying to create, you know? That's what this 52-week challenge is about. Yeah, this edge, I think this is what took me a little longer than everything else. Trying to fill it up. Yeah, the reason it got so big is because I messed up the sizing, but I was trying to do it before and after. It's not. This is where I was like, okay, what in the world is going on? Still high res, so it's still, we're looking at, we're looking at the pixels. It's like 1200 pixels by 1500. But that went down from the 4000 by 6000, I believe. So it's a fourth of the size. I was like, you know what? Let me save this right now in case anything happens. Let me make sure that we're good. So go ahead and save it. And so I had that white background, which I was supposed to put it behind me to make everything white on white. But then you see how small the picture got compared to what it should have been. And at this point, I was like, all right, dude, you messed up. You either redo the whole thing or what. So I was checking the size. It's 641 kilobytes. Tiny. I mean, I have the raw image, so I was checking the quality, and I was like, what did I do? Just looking at it being sad, like, alright, dude, whatever. Like, messed that one up. Here I was looking back at 4004. They actually don't. I don't know what happened. So I cropped it again. Why? I don't know. Just to see. Quality's still the same. On the phones and on the Instagram and all that, it doesn't matter. You really can't tell, but I have plans for this. I don't know how it's gonna affect my plans for the end of the year. There's still more editing that happened. We'll see if I get there or not. Fast forward a little bit. Okay, so here's where I go back and I decide that if I couldn't make it white, then I should just make it dark, like that, like the bottom corners. So I needed to separate myself from the background. I wanted the illusion that I was either inside of that box or I was part of the box. Oh man, I don't think I have the last part of the editing. So here I was just stressing because, oh, you probably can't see it here, but my scratch disc was full, so I couldn't do anything more. I had to erase a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, damn it. So maybe it took me longer than 30 minutes to edit it. Maybe it took me like 45 minutes or an hour. Whatever the case. Yeah, that's what we got for today. So you get to see a little bit of what it looked like. Wow. Yeah. So that's a little bit of how it looked like if you see the difference between the final picture and this picture. There's this little dot right here by my chin. I took that off. I made the things black. You can kind of see here. So from the one on the right side and the one on the screen, or the one on the left side, that's what I did to it after this recording. Alright, so I actually just did that voiceover in my car right now. But that's basically what I do. Don't mind my unshaved face. That's usually how my creative process goes. Just spend a lot of time in the studio trying to figure things out, and then spend more time in front of the computer trying to change or perfect that idea that I had in the studio. And yeah, I hope you guys liked it. I know this is a long video. I just thought it would be cool to show kind of behind the scenes of how things are done. If you guys like this, please let me know. I have a lot more of these to come, more than 40 actually, for the rest of the year. So there's a lot of opportunities to do this. And yeah, I'm also serious. If someone wants to intern or come to the studio and help out when I'm doing these, I would gladly take any help. And it's also a really good learning opportunity for a lot of people. For this channel, I have a goal of getting 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Hopefully you guys like this and you can share it with your friends and families. If you're watching this, please subscribe, hit the like button, all that kind of fun stuff. I'm going to be pushing out content. I'm going to be doing the same thing. Not really looking at the numbers, but I do have a goal for the end of the year. Hopefully I can make it with everyone's help, and we'll be here next week. Thank you guys.